Doing pretty well. So welcome back to round 4 action of Friday Night Magic Standard from Lost Legion Games and Comics in South Charleston, West Virginia. My name is Zachary Evans. This is Garrett Meadows
Taking over.
taking over one round at a time.
This is Garrett Sells Magic.
And we're watching the round 4. This is, as I mentioned earlier, 3 undefeated players left in this 28-person tournament. One is Jonathan Wright, who we just saw beat Max Turner in round 3. These are the other two. Brandon Hart playing the Kibler Gruul deck. It's got Gyre Sages and Wolfear's Silver Hearts. It's kind of like a big Gruul.
Right.
Versus Scotty Wright, who is playing the Aristocrats Act 2. I don't know why it's called Act 2. I don't really think it should be called Act 2, but who cares what I think. He's playing Cartel Aristocrats and Burn Spells and Scourgedag High Priest, right?
Right. The Sacrifice Outlet with Scourgedag High Priest.
The High Priest is really good.
What is the red, white, black? Is it Raka? What is Raka colors?
Oh, you mean that shard?
Yeah.
Oros.
Oros. It's Oros humans.
Well, I asked Scotty why it was a different deck name, and he got very defensive and said, well, it doesn't have Champion of the Parish in it.
Right.
I would argue that the first one didn't need Champion of the Parish in it.
Right. They wanted that against the band decks and the Esper decks because I can attest to sitting down across from a Sphinx's Revelation deck. Whenever your turn 1 play is Doom Traveler, your turn 2 play is Scourgedag High Priest, your turn 3 play is Lingering Souls, and then they verdict, and they're 18.
And you have no way of winning that game.
It's a pretty miserable feeling.
Both players going back to six cards. Sam Black at SCG Open Milwaukee this past weekend top 8 with this deck.
Yes. Can we eventually get to the plethora of black, white, mono white legacy decks that showed up this past weekend?
At the Grand and the one in.
I was pretty proud that the other 4 of us, the other 4 people that think like I do, did very, very well.
I think it's just like a medic. It's just a.
That was a good metagame call. And we see Plains into Doom Traveler. Brandon with no turn 1 play. Usually the Gruul deck wants to have a Burning Tree Chain or a turn 2 Gyre Sage into creatures that will make it evolve, like Burning Tree Emissary, Fled Up, or what have you. We see the start that was referenced, the turn 1 Doom Traveler into Swing for 1. Threatening nobody. Brandon trying to figure out the correct way to do this Burning Tree Chain. As we see, Burning Tree, Gyre Sage. Does not get to evolve the Gyre Sage off anything, but has 5 power on board for turn 2, staring down a Doom Traveler.
Who's the favorite in this matchup?
It's got to be Brandon game 1, but I think Scotty can get more of his removal in game 2. I think Scotty's the control deck throughout all these matches, throughout all these games.
He's the only deck that has any access to card advantage, right?
By card advantage, do you mean like Lingering Souls and...
Yeah.
Okay.
And High Priest?
Okay, we see Scotty coming across for 8. The Doom Traveler's going to get in the way of one thing, the Strangergeist, which will drain Brandon for 2. So Scotty going to go down to 16. Is that life 2? Scotty going down to 14. I guess they're getting the triggers after that. And Brandon at 19. I guess he had game life off something. Control S.
Alt FS. Or that. Control S will shut the stream down.
Okay.
So I would avoid that one.
The Strangergeist gets the Undying counter. Enters the battlefield, it evolves the Gyre Sage. Gyre Sage is a really underrated card, I think.
It's very good. But it's weird because you look at it and you figure it should go in an elf deck and be a mana source, but really it's just a beater.
Ooh.
Blasphemous act.
Blasphemous act with Blood Artist on board.
We'll just let them figure
I'm
it
gonna
out.
let them figure that out and react accordingly.
such a blowout. How many of those is he
Do you
playing?
call that card advantage? A 1 for 6?
And 19 for 1? How many Blasphemous Acts is a deck like Scotty's
I think
playing?
2 or 3 at least.
Because it is playing Reckoners, so it does
Right.
have that cutesy combo. It plays Sorin.
Arbor Elf into Sorin, yeah. Sorin's the linchpin of the deck now. I think it runs 1 main board and then like 2 or 3 in the sideboard. The transformational sideboard of tokens. You see Brandon finally get access to his 3 and 4 drops.
As the Zephyr31 mentions in the chat. And this is why Aristocrats is favored.
Well, you know, Brandon didn't have any big haymakers, any rage beasts or what have you, so... I mean, he's played Arbor Elf into Borderland Ranger.
It's pretty strong.
That's about as threatening as the turn 2 swing with my Doom Traveler.
Well, it's going to be tough for him to get into this Sorin. I imagine the Gruul deck is playing a fair amount of burn as well, right?
I don't know. I know it plays...
Oh, wait. If it's playing Domri Rad, which I know it is, it's probably not. But it is playing Thundermaw Hellkite.
It is playing the Rage Beasts. That's the 4 mana trample with the green-red Blood Rush for +4/+4 trample.
Alright.
That's the reach that it has, I think. Which is something that if Brandon wouldn't have, he would be sandbagging this whole time. So. We see tragic stuff on the Arbor Elf. Scotty really fearing the Thundermaw. Brandon revealing that forest instead of the mountain that he got off the borderland. Gyre Sage again into nothing.
It's like little things like that that drive me nuts. Was there a strategic value to playing the forest?
No. Absolutely.
Sometimes you've got to, because it's a shock land you got to play for no life or fixing your mana. But we all know my number 1 pet peeve.
Sphinx Revelation?
No, just miracling your land off the top of your deck.
Oh,
on
yeah.
Turn 8. It's like, well, great. Now they know what you drew.
Right. I do that sometimes out of sheer laziness. I would rather just put it into play than flick it around in my hand a couple times. Especially like if I miss my lane drop. Like, okay, flickering this lane in my hand a couple of times is not going to persuade you that I did not have this lane the last turn.
Thundermaw.
Thunderpants McGee comes in, evolves the Gyre Sage, which Brandon then taps for mana. Oh, he's attacking. 2/2, 2/3, 5/5 coming in. Orzhov Charm, going to lose 5, but all my stuff's going to live. I guess.
Was he attacking?
Guess Brandon.
Oh, I don't think they've lined up blocks yet.
I would throw 2 in front of the borderland here. I would definitely not do that. Just have a tragic step. In which case, I don't know. I have no idea what this guy's doing. But I would definitely throw 2 in front of the borderland. That way next turn.
Is he attacking? If he's attacking Sorin, I like his block. If he's attacking Scotty, then I would just trade with the borderland, like you said.
Because this turn you can make a dude to perma-chump block the Gyre Sage. And we have an Aristocrat.
Of the Falcon Wrath variety.
4/1 haste. Gonna knock Brandon down to 6.
It's amazing how the most damage that Scotty has done in this game.
What's the one with Blood Artist?
Yeah, it was a Blasphemous Act that doesn't deal any damage to creep to players.
So now we have Block Sack as an option to protect the Aristocrat. Little side note that Scotty did the order of operations right there of making the Vampire and then playing the Aristocrat in case there was a gut shot in Brandon's hand. I think I'd bait out the gut shot, though, just to disqualify my opponent.
The Wright brothers are very technically sound.
In Magic or in Life?
I don't know. Let's go with Life. Life for 100, Alex. It's very fun to be in the color commentary seat. Because I just get to eat Mexican food. And every now and then say, Thundermaw.
I think it's still Brandon's turn. We're going to play this dude.
He's only going to win this game if he draws another Thundermaw, right?
It's a Strangler-Geist. So, tapping 2 forests there is,
it's one of those
coming
things
back to hunting.
Where you got to know what's in your deck. I mean, it's a very narrow thing, but...
Right.
And to be fair, Brandon, plays Jund 95% of the time.
Right.
And then tonight decided to play this for fun. So, not as familiar with this list as he would normally be.
Swing at Soren, as the arrow indicates. And there's the Gore Clan Rampager. So Soren drops down to 2. Make another dude. We attack Domri, because that is the only way for Brandon to get back into this game.
Yep. To draw him multiple Thundermaws.
Now we see a Lingering Souls. Ooh, Scotty making the mistake of only producing 1 spirit. Quickly corrects it.
Whew. I also like the planes that Scotty is playing. The one from Mirage.
Yeah.
It's a good choice.
Strangleroot comes down. We're getting desperate.
That's the Strangleroot that we saw revealed off the Domri activation.
So Brandon Hart just packing it in here. I will not block any of my flyers. Yep. I attack you and I scream. Alright, so we're going to game 2. As Brandon was dead on board from the Falconwrath Aristocrat plus 2 Lingering Souls. Or Falconwrath Aristocrat plus 1 Lingering Souls plus Thorn Emblem.
He did I mean, it really is impressive how that game completely turned around. Not just from the board wipe from the Blasphemous Act, but the 7 damage he dealt and the life he gained off the Blood Artist.
Yeah, and it's honestly, I don't think it's something that Brandon can play around. I don't think.
No, his deck is not designed to put a couple guys out, wait for the sweeper, put a couple more guys.
OG Mom totally just Blasphemous Act to my opponent. I have another game.
It was Brandon too. LOL.
No turkey for him tonight.
Invite him over for dinner for the sick rub-ins. I would love to see Scotty Wright go to his deck box for his phone. Just to get the phone out of the deck box. Oh.
As we see him bringing in 3. I'm assuming that these 3 are not in duress or interchangeable riches.
No, what is he bringing in? Can you see?
He's got them face down.
This is one thing that I have...
Probably Orders of Arctron, Tragic Slip-ish stuff.
I was talking with Scotty a little bit about this deck before the tournament, since I haven't seen Scotty in a while. I was just chatting with him about what he was playing. And he said his favorite card in the deck is Orders of Charm. He's just amazed at how flexible it is.
Right. Well, you know, life is a resource that you can use. And obviously, in that game where he ended the game at 16 life or 18 life, losing 5 life by killing a Thundermaw Hellkite was nothing. So it was just a 2 mana.
And there's so many cards that, the cumulative life that you would lose over the course of the game to it, are just, it dwarfs the life that you pay. Like for example, in a Boros Reckoner, paying 3 life to get rid of the most hard to deal with card in the entire format.
Right.
I don't actually know if it's the hardest to deal with anymore because everyone's prepared for it. But for one weekend, it was.
And in that situation, like, Orders of Arctron was basically like Executioner's Calling. Because if the Thundermaw got to attack, he would have lost 5 life and then killed it. So, Orders of Arctron, lose 5 life to kill a 5/5 haste. Pretty good.
In the reanimate portion of the charm,
G-Mom, losing to Scotty again.
totally had the Blasphemous Act. What a tool.
Did you watch my sheets?
JK. Well, what was I going to say? I got distracted by a cell phone humor. It happens. The reanimate portion of Or's Orb Charm, it's 1 or less power?
Oh, no,
Or is it from mana
CMC
cost? Oh, okay. Because I was thinking how good that would be against, or good with Scourge deck High Priest.
Right.
But you've got plenty of other.
Technically, it still is like the big.
Yeah, you get something back to you sack something and get it right back. But
the other mode on that is actually relevant in this deck too. The bounce my dude.
Get it.
Bounce my dude back to my hand. Yeah, all the auras too. You know.
Is he playing a lot of auras?
I don't think so. It'd be good to see him run a 2 or 3 Gift of Warzava.
What are the playable auras in Standard right now? Rancor, Spectral Flight.
Rancor and Spectral Flight.
And that Gift of Warzova?
Gift is kind of playable. Gift is as playable as Madcap Skills is. Like,
it's perfect in that one deck.
In the Bant Hexproof or Blue-White-Red Hexproof deck. Mm-hmm. But outside of that, like, I think Madcap Skills is fine in a mono-red deck. But you also have the Mountain Walk, the 2/2 Mountain Walk one.
Oh yeah, Volcanic Strength.
Or you could also just play Creature.
Yeah.
Like also in that slot, you could play Curse of the Pierced Heart and do more damage to your opponent than any of the other cards in your deck. So.
I always, as someone who's played a fair amount of mountains.
Are they just texting each other?
I laughed way too much at that. There's no way that joke could have been as funny as I made it. Now's the portion of the show where we realize exactly how much sleep I've got this week.
You naked?
Yeah, I do. Thanks for...
Came from my butt.
See what you can't see. Well, great. I just shoved it in my mouth. What you can't see from this is that I'm eating the Mexican food that my wife brought me between rounds. And then Garrett just... Not because I needed one, but just completely randomly pulls out of his pocket like a half dozen Subway napkins. Did you eat fresh today?
I did eat fresh. I don't know if you know this, but in Buffalo, there's one place to eat. At the Exxon Subway.
Oh, that actually, I do know that. I do know that. There's some little store over there, but it's...
The Buffalo Diner, but I don't want a belly full of grease, so...
Yeah.
No
Back
offense,
to the action.
No offense to any employees of the Buffalo Diner. I'm sure you're working hard.
They would not argue. So, Brandon choosing to chump block with his Arbor Elf to kill the front half of the Doom Traveler?
Yeah.
A very aggressive block.
But the Rootbound Crag and the Rootbound Crag probably signals that he has a sick Burning Tree draw. Otherwise, this hand is totally not keepable. Tap Stomping Ground, really? Or is this just Gyre Sage? If it's a Gyre Sage and to set up my sick, I'll just shut up.
Root and Burning Tree are kind of a non-bow, aren't they?
Somewhat. But Strangleroot plus Gyre Sage is really good.
Is that the second Doom Traveler?
Yeah, that was Doom Traveler number 2 from Scotty. As we see, he has enough mana to cast that Reckoner in his hand now. Getting in there for 2. Boros Reckoner comes down. Not going to block that Strandergeist this turn. He's going to be very good against it once... Actually, he might not ever interact with Brandon's board with that Boros Reckoner. He is just a few turns away from being able to do the combo kill. Blasphemous Act Boros Reckoner. How this Aristocrats deck steals a lot of games.
This, the Aristocrats deck doesn't play Harvest Pyre, right?
No, it does not.
Seems too cute, right?
It does not have a lot of ways to dump cards into the graveyard other than just killing your own creatures. And Aristocrat. Oh, Tom. You have nothing to interact with me, so I'm going to turn all the dudes sideways. Take 6. Scotty in complete control of this game. I don't know if more Reckoners come in from the sideboard, if more Blasphemous Acts come in from the sideboard, but there's definitely no way that Brandon has a better sideboard than Scotty in this matchup. We're going to sack a Spirit to make my Aristocrat indestructible. We're going to swing for 8. This is mightily aggressive.
Well, he's not going to win by not attacking. Well, pump fake.
He does have an Aurelia on board.
Who does? Scotty?
The player 4 seats down, so Brandon's going to use that, untap, and get a second combat phase activation.
Ah, you were making a joke.
That is a joke. Is that a 9 or a 6? That is a 9. That is 17 minus 8 is 9. Blasphemous Act. Well, sometimes Magic's really hard. Sometimes you play...
Good Scotty got there.
Sometimes you play Blasphemous Act on a Boros Reckoner.
Oh, yeah. So that wasn't actually game 2. The chat's mentioning that we didn't have the games updated.
Hey, I'm not perfect.
You're not perfect, but that's...
Work in process.
Excuse me, so Scotty.
As we saw, 2 Mark of Mutinies, 3 Mark of Mutinies.
2 Dread War.
And 2 Dread War.
So it just becomes even more of the control deck.
Right. Are those Mark of Mutinies or are those like
Took
Searing
out a
Sparrows?
Sorin. No, those are marks. It took out Sorin and Lingering Souls?
Does that help?
Yeah.
Yeah, you take out Lingering Souls in the Thundermaw Hawkeye matchup. That makes sense.
So, while they, you can go ahead and bring up your little picture. You know how to do that?
Nope. Which camera? Which
Just,
scene?
no. Just click USB device and then the one right below it.
Click this?
Yep. And then the one right below it. Puts a nice border on it.
Ooh.
I'm going to step outside and see if I can find you another match.
Sure.
You can do whatever
Keep
you
your seat warm. So, I thank everybody for tuning in. 2 very dominant archetypes right now. I don't think that this matchup was typical of what you'll always see out of like the Gruul versus Aristocrats, but definitely anytime that the Aristocrats resolves Blasphemous Act against the deck that has to play out all of its creatures every time, probably going to win that match. The card advantage that you get from that. Whenever you, like in game 1, it was a 4-for-1, or it was a 4-for-2, 4-for-3. But still, it was a 4-for-3, and the life total swung by 12. So, like, that's a bad scenario for that to happen, and it was still incredible. It still won him the game right there on the spot, even though it took, 5 more turns to finish it. So Zach's out trying to find another match. While we got a break here.
Not happening.
Not happening. I was just reminding everybody to go to all of the social media pages. The YouTube,
Yeah, they should do that.
Twitch, Twitter, Facebook,
So if you...
all of those slash Zach Sells Magic.
Let's practically discuss it. The Twitch thing. What are the cons? Let's just talk about the cons. We all know the pros.
You
cons.
get
If you follow me on Twitch...
spammed with emails.
No. For Twitch, you get an email anytime our stream goes live. That's almost only on Fridays. But if we do something on the weekend, like for example, Dragon's Maze pre-release, which is coming up a week from Sunday.
Ooh, that bikini party we're having next weekend too.
Yep. I don't know how to respond.
No chicks, but lots of bikinis.
So you'll get like 1 email a week from that. And then it will remind you that if we're going live. So if we do something like, if we have like, we've been talking about doing a cube draft, we've been talking about doing some other stuff like that, it'd be a good reminder that that is happening.
We have been talking about a lot of cube drafts.
Well, the problem is I don't want to do it on a night when JB is trying to make money at the store because
Right.
it's bad. Facebook page. There are literally updates every day. This week, I'd say 5 updates minimum to our page. And it's not just, trust me, I don't just waste time to put nonsense up there. It's a discussion of new spoilers. It's announcements of new events. It's basically a news aggregator for Magic, along with some fun things. I've mentioned it before. It's a good time to mention Return of Max Turner Needs a Deck. This is actually the last installment of Max Turner Needs a Deck. As we're going to change the name to You Pick the Deck, because that way it's not, Max is not on the hook to always do it.
Right.
Because we run into that issue sometimes. But yeah, we're just taking, and you go to our Facebook page and look for that. It's a big picture of Max with a bunch of deck boxes. Every couple of weeks we let you pick what deck Max plays at FNM. So far he's 2-1 for top 8s. 1 week he won the entire thing with a bonfire off the top, playing Rogue Delver, which is hilarious.
Go back and watch the video if you haven't seen it.
Very fun. And so we're going to pick about 3 decks. The current leaders are whatever Travis Wu's current deck is. Black-White Immortal Servitude deck.
Very fun.
And then I'll have to calculate and see what the other one is, but there's some other options.
All the mono 2 drops in the Black-White deck?
All this, if you go to facebook.com/ZachSellsMagic or ZachSellsMagic.com, that'll redirect you there. You just click like. Also, here's the thing, too. Like, you click like, you interact in some of the polls, some of the questions and stuff like that. It shows up in your stream. Your friends that play Magic, they see it, they might come walk it. I mean, we don't make any money off this. This is not a for-profit venture. All we look for is exposure, and that's the best way to help us out in that regard.
There might even be player profiles coming soon.
Player profiles coming soon. Twitter. I don't know. You don't follow me on Twitter. I like to think my Twitter is the perfect amount of just non sequitur comedy, as well as Magic discussion, along with just random information. I'm not spamming on there either. Plus, it's a good thing too, is throughout the FNM, I always update whatever the round is. So if you're busy and you can't watch all of it, or you're not interested in watching all of it, you can at least see what the matchup is to figure out, well, I want to go watch that, that's neat, or I haven't seen that deck before, or I like that player, or something like that.
Right.
So that's on Twitter. And then finally on YouTube, actually, we're losing a lot of steam on Twitch, it seems, like we were talking about earlier. But our YouTube numbers are going pretty strong.
Right.
We're very close to 1,000 subscribers. And everything we've ever recorded, literally everything we've ever recorded on the stream is on our YouTube channel. So just go over to youtube.com/ZachSellsMagic and then subscribe there. It'll show up on your main page every time we post a new video. It won't send you an email or anything. It will just be there when you sign into YouTube. Lots of stuff. There's obviously all of our FNMs. There's a couple pre-release drafts. There's a pre-release sealed. Star City Invitational Qualifier. West Virginia States, which has always been our most watched video of all time. A cube draft once we did, a legacy tournament, which was awful, don't watch it. Right. And then a couple Commander deck techs. The very first one I streamed it. And then I realized, oh, this isn't any good if nobody knows how to play.
Right.
Because if you think people make misplays standard, come watch the Modern or Legacy.
Counting the 7's actually really hard. Just throw that out there.
You, of course, talking about Charbelcher?
Yes.
He did play Charbelcher. Did we go through all of the, everything?
Evil Beard's still offering me.
I think we went
with this.
Alright, you talk to them. Let's see about this another match.
Hi, guys.